Hello and welcome to the second Imperator Rome video of the day. In this video, I'm going to be asking, is 2.0 good? Is it bad? First impressions. Did they improve the game? Did they make the game worse? What's better? What's worse? Is it good? Is it not? And this is someone that pretty much played the initial release of Imperator Rome, and I actually quite enjoyed the initial release of Imperator Rome. I thought it wasn't that bad, and I thought it was getting a lot of hate when it shouldn't have. So I'm going to be looking at this of what I think about this new 2.0 update and if it's really good or if it's kind of bad. Also, if you just want to see me playing this game, I do have a Let's Play that I started earlier today that will be in the description down below. The first thing that I want to say is the Imperator Rome map has always been completely beautiful. I think this is one of the prettiest maps in any Paradox game. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the amount of map modes. I love how the terrain looks. I think it's just a very pretty map. I think that the non-flat Earth, which is kind of a sphere, half a sphere, is really impressive. However, I would have to say this new UI, this red UI, and all this UI, I dislike a lot compared to the initial UI. I just don't think it is that pretty. I think the style is kind of more distracting than appealing. So the UI, I kind of dislike it. So I actually enjoyed the old UI. It was a little bit bland, but I feel a lot of this UI is more distracting and the colors clash a lot more. They don't really go really well together with the red and blue, which they're really going for. I understand that they're Roman red, but I just think it doesn't make that good for UI. I think that the UI shouldn't be very distracting, and the red pops out way too much. I think it really kind of distracts you from the important features, because like this blue is what I'm drawn to instead of like the important things I'm supposed to be looking at. I think most of this new UI is more distracting than beneficial. I do think the outliner, though, I do like the new outliner. I think it does show a lot of important things. I also like that you can hide it and also change a little bit with the outline. You can configure things. I think a lot of the things that are on the outline are very important, and it's really cool to track all these things. So the outliner I really like, besides like the UI, but I'm not going to talk about the UI anymore. I already made my point about that. But this outliner is a good improvement, and I really like how it includes a lot of things, and you get to see all the stats right with it. With all the menus now being on the left side, I think it's very interesting. I do think you have to really relearn the game. That's the only thing that I think is a very big difference with 2.0, which is kind of bad. It kind of, if you liked the original Imperator Rome, which I was a fan of the original Imperator Rome, a lot of these changes kind of push aside everything that the people that liked aside and just try to appease all the new people, which I think could be very harming. Is that they kind of, everyone that was already playing the game and already enjoyed Imperator Rome may not like these new changes, because everything that they liked is now changed to what the majority of people wanted. I do think, however, the severity things with the tasks that pop up is very good. You see like the green ones are like the ones that really don't matter to have them, and then the red is like super important things, and then the yellow is like the kind of medium. I think those important things are great in every single like Paradox game. The one that really shouts out is EU4. It kind of has that same EU4 style. I think the Nation Overview is a great new menu. I think I really like this. That has a lot of things to see, like your religion and culture and your pops all in one place. There is a big argument that a lot of the menus and stuff are a lot more intuitive and like a lot more simple, a lot of like random clutter not picking up. But I think for people that already played Imperator Rome, it now is very confusing because you've kind of been used to a whole bunch of things and now they're all changed. I think this idea of having Imperator completely reworked is kind of dangerous, because you're trying to get a new audience to come enjoy your game, we're kind of negating your old audience. Because as someone that used to play Imperator Rome and kind of like the original, I am very confused with a lot of these new updates, because they changed a lot of key features. And there's no really new explaining. You pretty much have to play the game over again. And when I started my Let's Play today, or in the last couple of days, I really was frustrated because everything that I knew was kind of thrown away, and I had to kind of relearn everything that I originally learned, which is quite frustrating, if I'm going to be honest. Something that was introduced in Imperator Rome was Levees, and I had to say this edition makes so much sense and is so cool. This is probably one of the coolest features in Imperator Rome that they added. It's a really cool mechanic. So pretty much what this does is it takes what your population is and turns them into troops. So based on what your population is, which is your different types like nobles, citizens, freemen, tribesmen, and slaves, it will kind of form these levies based on those populations, which I think is very cool. And then those populations are connected to your troops. So like say that you suffer attrition from your troops, some of those citizens may die. I think this is something that is very interesting and very cool, and a great mechanic that I think is just super good, and haven't seen like this type of mechanic in other Paradox games. This is a mechanic I would love to see, where population is directly tied to what type of military troops you have. The changes to the military traditions I think is very cool. You start with your basic military traditions that you can go through, which is your kind of culture and religion. So I think it's very cool that you have that. But then also if you conquer other populations, you can incorporate other religions. I think this is something that's very cool and unique, because you kind of like inheriting things from other people. I think this is a cool feature. I think it's neat. I don't think it's something that was really needed. I think it's a cool bonus. Nothing too special though. With armies as well, there's also the Legion tab, where you have to like change your laws and research in order to get legions. I think this is something that is interesting, but I don't know how much I like it. I kind of think it's like a step that is kind of annoying, where you have to pass a law. Even if it's historical or anything, I think it's annoying, and it's actually something that probably new players will miss. When I was doing my Let's Play, this is something I didn't know about, and this is kind of like one of those like hidden things you have to play a couple times to realize. So to get this, you have to go into research in your technology, and when you do your advancements, you gotta get professional training, and once you get professional training, you have to go to your laws and you have to change your law to enable legions. So that's something, just explaining that seems like it's a long process, and it's something, if you don't do that right in the start, and since my Let's Play, I didn't just straight go down to professional training, so now I have to get a whole bunch of innovations to go down and get that. So that's something that new players are probably going to get caught up on, and they may struggle in early wars if large coalition happens, because you can only have your levies and you won't have legions. You also could hire mercenaries and stuff, but I really don't like how legions is not very intuitive. You kind of have to go through some hoops that if you're new, you probably won't notice right away. So if it was something that people understood a lot easier, it would be quite easy, and especially because there's like this large wall of text where I don't even want to read this to figure it out. If you do read it, you'll figure out if you have the correct laws, but then you probably have to go to your laws, and then when you go to your laws, you're like have to have professional training, and then you got to go to technology, and then you got to find professional training. It's something that's just quite not intuitive, and if someone doesn't play the tutorial or understands or watch the video, they'll probably miss it, aka me. Something that I loved in Imperator Rome was the fort system, and conquering a fort, it would kind of go around and start conquering other things. I love the fort systems in like EU4 and stuff like this. And now in this game, Imperator Rome, if you conquer a fort, it will just capture everything in that region at the same time, so you don't have to go on those useless tiles and capture them one by one. Now only forts are the really things that you have to conquer, and I think this is going to be a key thing in Conquest. You really have to be specific for going over the forts, so I think it's going to be easier to defend nations, and it's going to be harder to attack, which I think is going to be very interesting, and it can make weaker nations actually defeat more powerful ones. Another thing to look at is the technology. I think the technology expansion is actually quite interesting. I like how how big it is expanded. There's so much technology to look at now, which I think is very cool. And I also like that it doesn't cost money to do innovations. It's innovation points based on your researcher's abilities. I think that's something that's very neat. I do think this is going to make the barbarian struggle more, but that makes sense because they're supposed to struggle with technology. So I really think the overhaul of the technology is a great addition. I love that it doesn't cost money anymore. It costs these innovations, which makes sense. It didn't make sense that you had to like unlock a research and pay a whole bunch of money for them. Instead, you have like these innovations where you unlock this that give you things. So technology overhaul, really cool. I like it. The innovations usage, I like that too. Planning mode, really cool addition as well. So I think overall technology, really good introduction. It will make barbarians weaker, I think, but that is something that makes sense. Barbarians should be weaker when it comes to technology. There is an addition of a couple new nations throughout this area in the world, in like modern day Turkey and Greece. I think that's cool, adding more nations. I love playing as more nations. More nations the better. It allows for more players and more things to do. I don't think any of these nations are very interesting. I do think them releasing a new DLC with 2.0 is smart, but I wish they did not. There also will be, for everyone that used to be part of the Alexander Empire before it fell, because that's when this nation, this game kind of starts as Alexander and his empire falls. There will be Casas Bellas for the Alexander Empire, which I think is very cool as well. Overall, I have to say the new changes for Imperator Rome I think are immensely beneficial for the game. I think it does make it a lot better, and I can't wait to see it keep on progressing. The only problem I have to say is I really don't like the UI. I think that's a personal preference. I really haven't been looking around how other people have been talking about the UI. I personally like the UI of the old game, and I kind of just think that the UI in this game is very distracting. I understand that people want it to be colorful, but it's just UI. It's not supposed to pop out. My problem is I think the non-important things pop out rather than the important things, and I think that is my biggest problem with the UI. But overall, I can't wait to play more Imperator Rome, and if you guys want to play Imperator Rome 2, there will be a link down below for Humble Bundle. I just got Humble Bundle partner, so I get some of the proceeds. You can buy it. It's on a discount on Steam and Humble Bundle, but anyone that wants to get Imperator Rome, it is like 75% off. It's a great time to buy Imperator Rome. I would definitely check it out. I've always thought this game was really good, and I think this update just makes it a lot better. So if you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I make a whole bunch of Paradox content, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good day. See you later. Bye.